Welcome in. It's another beautiful day here at the 6A Utah State Baseball High School Championships. We got 4 more games on tap after a spectacular afternoon yesterday on Tuesday here at UCCU Ballpark in Orem, Utah, the home of the Utah Valley Wolverines. Game 1 this afternoon features the Lehi Pioneers taking on the Herriman Mustangs in the consolation bracket. The winner moves on to play later this afternoon. The loser's season comes to an end. We've got Herriman as the visitor in this one, Lehi coming in as the home team. So we'll give you the lineup for Herriman really quick. Leading off, it's the center fielder playing left field, Riker Renteria. Renteria takes strike 1 from Sean McAfee on the mound for the Pioneers. After Renteria, it'll be the junior Cash Carter. Strike 2, McAfee ahead quickly, 0-2. In the 3-hole, it's Boston Jacobson playing third base. Batting cleanup, the sophomore Cameron Pettit. Batting 5th, a bouncer to short. Coming in on it, making the play is Mays Madsen. So 1 up, 1 down. Batting 5th is Logan Gregory. In the 6-hole, Kason Thomas playing center field. The lone freshman on the field this afternoon. Batting 7th, Easton Webb is the designated hitter. In the 8-hole, senior Carson Jones and Brigham Whitaker batting 9th and playing right field. After this pitch, we'll give you the defensive alignment for Lehi. As McAfee again delivers strike 1 defensively left to right in the outfield. It's Riker Renteria, Kason Thomas, and Brigham Whitaker. Nope. It's Gavin Yates, Dawson Brown, and Boston Draculich. Across the infield, Cooper Williams, Mays Madsen at short, Ozzie Williams at second, Cole Ybarra at first, and Brandon Mnookin behind the plate. And a strikeout for Sean McAfee. I'm Brian Priest, joined again by Mike Matthews. Mike, how you doing this afternoon? This morning, I guess.
Doing great. Ready for a whole nother day of baseball, and we're already starting off well. Lehigh pitching strikes, a strikeout here. Excited to see what these teams can do today and what kind of baseball is going to be played.
Yeah, yesterday we talked so much about the importance of pitchers coming out and getting ahead of these batters, and that's exactly what McAfee did with the first 2 hitters he faced. Misses off the outside edge. We'll see what the strike zone looks like. Yesterday it seemed like a pretty generous outside corner, not so much on the inside corner in all 4 games. So swinging strike 1. McAfee is a junior making his 10th appearance today. He's 4-1 this season, comes into the game with a 3.91 earned run average.
He's working quick. Gets the ball right back up on the pitching rubber, ready to go as soon as the batter's in the box.
This is Boston Jacobson. Jacobson went 2 for 3 yesterday, but he strikes out swinging here. A great top of the first inning for Sean McAfee. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with the lineups and defense for the Pioneers and Mustangs. You're watching 6A High School State Championship Baseball on KSLSports.com. Back here at UCCU Ballpark, quick top half of the first inning. So the Lehi Pioneers set down the Herriman Mustangs 1-2-3 lineup for the Pioneers. Senior Mays Madsen leading off, followed by another senior Boston Draculich in the 2-hole. Batting third is the junior first baseman Cole Ybarra, followed by Dawson Brown in the cleanup spot. Brandon Mnookin is catching and batting 5th. A freshman, Jake Welch, is a designated hitter for the Pioneers this afternoon, batting 6th. Senior Ozzie Williams playing second base and batting 7th. At third base and batting 8th is Cooper Williams. And rounding out the Pioneers lineup is left fielder Gavin Yates. They'll be taking on the Herriman starter today, number 9, Talon Meechin. Meechin is making his 14th appearance. Numbers this year, he's got a 5.69 earned run average and a 1-0 record. These teams coming in, Lehi is 16-14. The Mustangs 15-14. Herriman opened up the day yesterday at 11 a.m., upsetting Pleasant Grove with a 3-2 win. It was just all around a great day of baseball. Madsen goes the opposite way, single into left. So a leadoff base hit for the Pioneers. They get things started right.
Great job of hitting by Mays. Ball was out over the plate. Didn't get too greedy with it. Able to put a barrel on it, poke it in left field for the first base hit of the game. I think what we're going to see out of Lehi's hitters today is they're going to make a little bit of an adjustment. They didn't seem to be super comfortable in the box, and already looking way more comfortable on that first batter.
Madsen takes the lead off of first. Here's Boston Draculich. Draculich hitting .292 this season. He was 0 for 2 yesterday with a walk. Was Lehi falling to the Davis darts. After a check on the runner, Meechan gets the sign. Comes set, here's the 0-1. Misses inside. Draculich leads this Lehi team with 5 home runs. Second behind Madsen with 28 runs batted in.
And I should say, Lehi didn't look too comfortable in the box, but I'll be honest, I'm not sure there were a whole lot of hitters comfortable in the box yesterday with the type of pitching performances we had in all 4 games. We'll see what the offense has in store for all of these games that we have today. Pitching duels yesterday. We'll see if we get the same out of everybody today.
Hey, you're right, Mike. It was so impressive. We had a couple of complete games yesterday. Kenny Johnson threw a complete game for Riverton, as the Silver Wolves lost to American Fork, or for American Fork, as they beat Riverton. And then it was Carson Fankhauser with Mountain Ridge, a sophomore, going the distance as well. And we did have great pitching performances all afternoon as Draculich strikes out, bringing Cole Ybarra to the plate.
Yeah, and it seemed like a common thread. Either the game started with a little turmoil for pitchers, allowing runners on, and maybe allowing up a few runs, but then they would settle down and usually get close to going the distance, either 5 or 6 innings. And I think the game plans are the same today. If you're on the offense, you're trying to get runners on and disturb the pitcher's rhythm early. See if you can get deep into the bullpen as soon as you can. And if you're pitching, you hope you have a day like everybody had yesterday.
Well, I don't believe we had any of the 8 teams we saw yesterday use more than 3 pitchers, so we should have some full bullpens this afternoon. So a couple of these teams will end up playing doubleheaders today. It's a nice strike from Meechan. Cole Ybarra yesterday went 1 for 2. He doubled and drove in a run. He's hitting .358 this season. And we had a really fun moment right before first pitch today. The Lehi Pioneers seemed to be missing their senior commencement ceremony, so rather than miss out, the baseball team held their own commencement ceremony here. They introduced all the kids. They walked. They threw their hats. As Madsen takes off, slides safely into second base ahead of the tag. Well, it was just fun to see these kids. They come out here to play in the baseball state championships, but before they do that, they get the thrill that they'll never have again in their lives of accepting that high school diploma and checking off that box. You know, it's one of the first major accomplishments in a person's life, and it's so fun to sit here and watch these kids and families celebrate that.
Yeah, that was a cool thing, and for those that have been through graduation commencements, they're great events, but to have it be special and individualized for these boys to come out here and be on a baseball field in the state tournament and playoffs and throw your cap and gown on and line up at home plate and get announced and be able to walk through and shake hands and take pictures, that it's going to be a unique experience that not a lot of people get to have.
That's something these boys are going to remember for the rest of their lives. Quick timeout. Ybarra steps out of the box. He's back in now. Counts 1-2. 1 down with Madsen in scoring position after the stolen base. Hard hit ground ball to second base. Up with it. Madsen advances to third. We've got 2 down. For the Pioneers, that brings Dawson Brown to the dish. Brown was 0 for 2 yesterday.
Dawson, their speedy center fielder, especially at this point, if you can even get a ground ball and beat it out at first, let that run score, that'd be a big time run in the first inning.
Meechin misses high. Well, we had a mixture of games yesterday. We had a couple teams come out early, put some runs on the scoreboard, and hold on throughout the course of the game. There were a couple of other instances. Herriman was one of them with a 3-run comeback in the 5th inning. I believe they scored 3 runs to beat Pleasant Grove. And so it was just an assortment of great baseball yesterday afternoon, and I'm really excited to see how ththese teams perform today.
Yeah, great resiliency in all teams. Just to battle and to fight and really just to not go down without swinging or without a fight. And it was a great day for baseball. Really interesting to watch how these teams rebound off such emotional highs with their wins coming into today and see if they've got energy and the same type of intensity they had yesterday.
And Brown draws the 5-pitch walk. So runners at the corners now for Brandon Mnookin. Mnookin doubled yesterday afternoon. Also walked. He finished the day 1 for 2. Been a good RBI man. He's 5th on the team with 20 runs driven in this season. And I was impressed with Mnookin's work behind the plate as well yesterday. He looked like a solid catcher. He works well with his pitchers, does a good job of framing, and does a really nice job blocking on this difficult surface.
Yeah, I'm always curious if catchers enjoy the turf or if they would prefer dirt. And I've never really talked to a catcher long enough to discover if turf is better or if dirt is better.
My only thought that creeps into my head, I also have not had the chance to have these conversations, but on turf, you have the risk of a ball skipping more than bouncing versus dirt where you're going to get a true bounce most of the time. And so I wonder if there might be a little bit more difficult getting those balls that are low. But Mnookin showed himself well yesterday, and he's quickly ahead 3-0 against Meechin. So Meechin already working around some trouble here in the bottom of the first inning. Lehi trying to take an early lead. Here's the 3-0. Mnookin looks at strike 1.
Well, they've got decent speed with Brown on first base here. Might even think about moving the runner here just to try and shake a few things up.
Another good pitch by Meechin.
Well, he'll be moving now, 3-2 with 2 outs. Brown will be on the move.
That gives the defense a little bit more of an advantage. They don't have to worry about covering the bag on this pitch. Standard depth. Mnookin strikes out swinging. So Meechin gets into some trouble. He gives up a leadoff single and walks a batter, but does not allow a run. He strands 2 after 1 inning of play. Lehi and Herriman still knotted at 0. You're watching 6A high school playoff baseball on KSLSports.com.
The Tab Spend checking account, you earn big rewards. It's hard to not make a scene.
Cash or card?
Oh, my card's right here.
That's a big card.
You should see how much it's earned me. Sorry, Grandma. Tab Spend isn't just another checking account. It's packed with benefits.
How do I get one?
Just scan this QR code or go to tabbank.com. It's all online and super easy to get started.
Tab Bank, home of the Tab Spending Rewards checking account with 3.5% annual yield on your account balances and 1% cash back on all eligible purchases. But great rewards are just the beginning at Tab Bank. We've got convenient online and mobile banking with no hidden or complex qualification requirements, no minimum opening balances, and 0 account fees. It's a big deal at Tab Bank, member FDIC. So we head into the second inning here. That was a quick, fast-paced first. Both pitchers looked pretty good. Sean McAfee really controlled the action for Lehi. Meechin got into a small spot of trouble, but did a great job working around 2 base runners, setting the stage as we head into the second inning. Leading off for the Mustangs is going to be Cameron Pettit.
Yeah, I felt like we saw a lot of swing and misses in that first inning. Pitchers coming out with good stuff.
Pettit was 0 for 2 yesterday, did have a sac fly RBI. Lines the first pitch foul. Pettit, one of 4 Mustangs in the lineup this afternoon, hitting over 300. He takes ball 1, evening the count. And McAfee misses outside.
Yeah, we were talking about graduation ceremonies this morning. This is not something that normally happens on a baseball field, especially before you play a game. Well, and I also kind of think about what it takes for these players to be ready to play in these playoff-type atmosphere. They're playing at 11 o'clock on a neutral field. They have to show up at a certain time. It really messes with kind of your normal schedule and rhythm that they've had all season. And what I think it really comes down to is that coaches and coaching staffs that are really good at developing routines once they get to a field, they are going to be the ones that are going to have their players ready, not only physically but mentally, if those routines are already built in. And I think you see experience in the playoffs, especially the coaches that have been here.
Pettit lofts the ball out to right field underneath it. Making the grab is Draculich.
Yeah, I think coaches that have been here and been through this before, they obviously it helps to know, okay, hey, we can pull up here. We're going to drop our guys off here. We need to be here at this time. But what I think is paramount is that a routine has already been established during the season so that when you do have to play at 11 o'clock at a neutral field like this, that you're ready to go mentally and physically.
Logan Gregory steps into the box. Well, I think that's such a great point about the routine. And when you have that routine established, it doesn't matter what time of day the first pitch is, because you've got the routine, you know what you're doing in that hour, that 90 minutes leading up to the game time, and you're able to get your body ready, whether it's 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. You know, maybe we're in Alaska playing those midnight baseball games.
Yeah, exactly.
So a 2-1 count now for Logan Gregory, hitting .267 this season. And when you talk about routine, I mean, it's a cross-sport comparison, but Ray Allen is somebody that I always think of his warm-up routine and the way that he was just, you could almost say fanatical about his preparation ahead of games. And it was every day, get to the arena 4 hours early, you're putting certain shots up, and you're doing, and that's what it takes to excel at the highest level. But even here in high school, that routine can be so beneficial.
Yeah, and we talked about it kind of on a team level for these teams here right now.
Pop up behind the plate, Mnookin, see if he has room. Comes down in foul territory, but nobody able to make the play. Counts 3-2 on Gregory.
Yeah, zero talk between third baseman and catcher here. It looks like third base was just guaranteeing that Mnookin was going to catch that ball. Mnookin saw it started creeping backwards, backpedaled, and the third baseman, they both looked at each other as that ball hit between them right on the turf.
Yep.
A missed opportunity.
And nobody said a word to each other while the ball was in the air. Popped into the stands, little excuse me check swing. Count remains 3-2.
Well, back to routines we were talking about, but it's teams there's a routine, but individuals are routine. Had an opportunity to work with a lot of professional guys, specifically relievers, that they have a pregame routine, and then before they go into game, they have a routine, and it doesn't matter, is that you pick what's consistent. As we get a strikeout here, great pitch, but you pick what's consistent, what you have control over. All of these players, they're going to go into a field and they're going to find a bullpen with a mound and a home plate, and they can guarantee that there's probably going to be that in grass or turf, and they build their routines off of that so that no matter where they go, they always can be ready and go through those routines and be prepared to perform when they need to.
Bouncer to short. Madsen up with it across the diamond. 1, 2, 3. Go the Mustangs in the top of the second inning. We head to the bottom half of the second. Still scoreless. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. Are you ready to unlock your full athletic potential? At Athletic Potential, we specialize in helping athletes conquer pain, recover faster, and achieve peak performance. Whether you're a professional, collegiate, or recreational athlete, our tailored approach ensures you're stronger, faster, and more resilient. From personalized physical therapy to sport-specific performance training, we guide you every step of the way. Plus, with remote coaching options, expert support is always within reach. Don't let injuries hold you back. Visit athletic-potential.com to schedule your free consultation today and take the first step towards your best performance yet. Leading off for the Pioneers here in the bottom half of the second inning, it's Jake Welch, the freshman designated hitter. Welch takes ball one. Chopper foul.
Yeah, I don't know if you get too many weird bounces on turf that may ricochet a ball back into foul territory. You see a bounce like that, you always worry as a third baseman. You saw the third baseman come in a certain way. He was shading towards the field, not just going for the foul ball to get it, but shading. So if it does take a weird bounce, he can either catch it in foul territory or at least maybe have a chance of a play.
Fly ball right field, trying to make a sliding grab. Not able to control it is Brigham Whitaker. That's going to likely go down as a leadoff double for Jake Welch. The Pioneers already have a runner in scoring position with nobody down. Gives us a perfect opportunity to go over the defensive alignment for Herriman this afternoon. Riker Renteria in left field, Cason Thomas in center, Brigham Whitaker in right, Boston Jacobson at third, Cash Carter at short, Carson Jones at second, and Logan Gregory at first base. Cameron Pettit behind the plate, catching Talon Meechan.
And that ball was flaring, so he hit it just enough that it was spinning sideways, a little bit of topspin, so it was starting to fall down towards the turf. Tough read by a right fielder, lay out, and just barely missed it. He did hit go in his glove, he just couldn't hold on to it.
And we saw Whitaker have a lot of chances yesterday afternoon. He's proven himself as a pretty good outfielder, gets a good read on that ball. Just wasn't able to get to that when he had a long way to run toward the foul line. So a tough break. And that does get recorded as a double for Welch. Playing the bunt down as Ozzie Williams pushes it foul. Good thought by Williams. Like the idea of moving the runner to third with only one down.
Well, with the way runs have come in this tournament so far, runs are a premium. You saw yesterday in the American Fork Riverton game, Ingersoll opting to run a play to get a runner caught between first and second to try and get a run scored from third, which did work. I think he's thinking the same thing. Runs are going to be a premium. You try to get them when you can.
1-1 count now for Ozzie Williams, the second baseman for Lehi. Fly ball out to left field. It's Shallow coming in on it, making the catch is Renteria. That was the first out of the inning. Ozzie Williams is retired, now bringing Cooper Williams to the plate, the Pioneer third baseman. Cooper was 0 for 1 yesterday. Did draw 2 walks, ended up coming around to score once. Meechan catches the outside corner. And once again today, it looks like that outside edge might be the friend to some of these pitchers.
Yeah, yesterday I was watching how these umpires set up, where they squat, where they're looking, and you'll see a variance in this in different umpires. Some will go right over the top of the catcher. Some will set up wherever the catcher sets up so they're getting the same vantage point as the catcher, and some will pick the same spot every time. So far, we're looking at a vantage point that's just over the left side of the shoulder of the catcher. which sometimes can lead it to look like that strike is on the outside corner is actually more of a strike than it actually is. But it's really up to the umpires, whatever they feel most comfortable with, whatever they feel like they can see the most with. As a pitcher, I remember watching that occasionally and knowing that certain umpires just love to give me outside corner. And most of the time, it's the umpires are setting up to the inside of the catcher, same side as the batter.
Ground ball to second. Scooped up by Jones. Throws to first. Retires Cooper Williams. The runner advances to third on the play. Now Gavin Yates with an RBI chance. Well, I think as a player, typically the refrain is it's not so much what the zone is as it's just a matter of we want you to be consistent. Wherever your zone is, it doesn't matter. We'll figure that out. Just be consistent.
Yeah, and having talking to a few different umpires.
Popped up on the infield. First baseman Logan Gregory makes the grab. I guess we'll get back to this conversation after the break.
Absolutely.
So Mustangs and Pioneers still scoreless after 2 innings of play. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. Back here in Orem, UCCU ballpark. The Lehi Pioneers facing the Herriman Mustangs. Leading off in the top of the third inning, it's Easton Webb. Webb, the freshman designated hitter, went 1 for 2 yesterday afternoon. Bouncer to second. Williams scoops it up. Easy play, 1 up, 1 down. Sean McAfee has retired the first 7 batters he's faced today.
Now batting the second baseman, number 16, Carson Jones.
Looks like we have a little bit more wind in general today as Jones fouls the ball off of his own leg. Wouldn't say a strong wind, but it is. You see the flag out in center field blowing right to left. Yesterday, the park played awfully big, allowed for a lot of extra base hits, doubles, and triples, but we saw 1 ground rule double, nothing else over the outfield wall. It'll be interesting to see if the wind has an impact today.
Yeah, interesting to know. We only saw 1 home run yesterday, and that was an inside the park home run. So this park, which normally when I've had experience playing here, it plays small. Yesterday it was playing quite large. There was 1 ball, I believe, off the wall yesterday, and then
off
1
the
ground
base
rule
of the
double.
wall.
Yeah, base of the wall.
And strike 3 swinging. So Carson Jones is retired. Sean McAfee is on his A game so far. And it's a beautiful facility down here at UCCU Ballpark as Utah Valley has grown tremendously over the last 2 decades after moving from the junior college ranks in the early 2000s and now a Division I school. And just, I believe if the numbers are still correct, it's got the largest enrollment in the state of Utah as far as student body, and the facilities that they have down here are immaculate, with the Wolverines down in Arizona playing in the WAC postseason tournament. 6A baseball here in Orem. Just a beautiful environment. Bouncer to short. Can't make the diving stop, Mays Madsen. So a single for Brigham Whitaker, the first base runner for the Mustangs. That'll turn the lineup over for Riker Renteria.
And even that ball's hit pretty well, and this turf speeds it up just enough to get it through the infield. You'll see these infielders, they'll set up. Normally you'd play on the dirt if you're not playing on turf. These guys will actually set up behind where that discoloration is for where the infield would normally be, where infield dirt would normally be, and they'll stand about 2 to 3 feet back onto the outfield grass or the outfield turf just to give themselves enough time to get to a ball like that.
You know, one nice thing that doesn't get mentioned a lot about turf, it does speed up the game a little bit, but you don't have the lip of the grass to, occasionally give an untrue bounce. Everything is going to be true.
Yep. I haven't played both on natural surfaces and on turf. I can tell you that I definitely preferred turf as an outfielder and as a position player. As a pitcher, I never had the pleasure of pitching on a turf mound, so I don't know if I can give you much context there.
Counts 3-1 now for Riker Renteria. Renteria grounded out to short in his first at-bat. Runner takes off. Strong throw from Mnookin. It's a little offline. Brigham Whitaker safe at second base, so a runner in scoring position for the Mustangs. Mnookin's got such a strong arm. He doesn't even come out of his crouch to make that throw.
Yeah, great throw. Just on the money.
Well, here's Cash Carter. Took me a second to realize that the throw wasn't even necessary. That was ball 4 for Renteria. So now runners at first and second.
Herriman's doing what they did yesterday. 2 outs, hitting runners on base and just stringing some hits together. This is how they scored their runs yesterday.
All 3 Herriman runs came in the 5th inning. It was Cash Carter, Boston Jacobson, and Logan Gregory scoring. 4 base hits in the inning. They had a couple of doubles. And that is what the Mustangs do. They just like to piece these things together. You look up and down the lineup, there's not a lot of power. There's not really anybody that you're looking to give you that a bloop and a blast style of play. You have to play station to station and smart fundamental baseball. We're going to have a conversation now between McAfee and his catcher. Just making sure they're on the same page. Sometimes you'll see that when you get a runner on second base. They'll talk about making sure that the signals are the same. And, runners not picking up on what pitches might be coming.
Yeah, a lot of times you got a runner at second who's looking into the signs, and you don't want to get a sign picked. But a lot of times in a 1-2 pitch like this, you can go out to your pitcher and just say, hey, look, we're throwing this pitch, right? And if you don't get him on this pitch, we're going to throw the next pitch, so that no signs actually even have to be given.
McAfee misses outside, evens the count 2-2. Checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 swinging. So McAfee gives up his first base hit, but gets out of it after a walk, striking out Cash Carter to end the inning. We head to the bottom half of the 3rd inning, still scoreless in Orem. You're watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. Bottom of the 3rd, leading off for the Pioneers, it's Mays Madsen. Madsen 1 for 1 already today. He singled, was stranded at second base back in the 1st inning. Madsen, when he's not on the diamond, is a spectacular football player with the Lehi Pioneers. Or I guess was, as he's a senior and was part of that commencement ceremony here on the turf this morning. Takes ball 2, ahead in the count, 2-0. Following Madsen, it'll be Boston Draculich and Cole Ybarra. Ripped into right, another solid base hit from Mays Madsen. The first one was a line drive to left, the second one a liner to right. He's using all parts of the field today.
Okay, 9, let's go ahead now. Let's go.
And both good at-bats by Madsen. He was definitely seeing the ball nicely. He's been able to barrel up, like you said, and just taking the pitches where they're pitched and put them either into right or left field.
Meechin comes set. And ball 1 misses high. In terms of contact, these two teams pretty similar. Lehi with a .315 team batting average. Herriman at 300 even. But when you start looking at the power numbers, the slug, you really see the difference with that ball popped into the stands. Lehi slugging .492 as a team, whereas Herriman slugging .394. So just Herriman not doing quite as much damage when they do put the ball in play. On base percentage of .398, still really good for the Mustangs, but without that chance of a little bit of power, it just makes it that much more difficult to score.
Yeah, and his coaching staffs, if you know your team and you understand what type of team you are, you're going to play to your strengths. Obviously, Lehi, they're going to go ahead and get runners on and see if they can drive them in, and may see a little bit more small ball out of Herriman, just trying to make sure they give runners a chance of scoring, knowing that they're probably going to get more of those singles and doubles, less chances of home runs.
Meechin misses high, counts 2-2. I think the Herriman coaching staff has seen something from Meechin and popped out of the dugout immediately after that pitch. Come out and have a word. Wonder if this is going to be about mechanics, maybe just finishing.
Yeah, tough. He was already giving hand signals before he even got out there, so I don't know if it's a mixed signals. He's not throwing the right pitches. I can tell you as a coach, like, if you're watching your pitcher and you call a certain pitch and it is not thrown correctly, you usually look at your catcher and the catcher looks back at you and they kind of sometimes either it's a shrug, like, I don't know, or they realize, or the catcher will say it's on him or the pitcher will say it's on him. But if you see it twice or even a third time as a pitching coach, you got to get on top of that. And that may have been the reason why we saw him jump out of the dugout and just get this thing straightened out. So you don't throw a pitch, that maybe the hitter's actually looking for.
Yeah, and at this point, it's not March and April anymore. We're deep into May. Championship baseball, and there's just no time to waste in these. You can't sit back and let a pitcher try and figure it out as much as you might have in the first 10 games of the year. Counts now full for Draculich. Payoff pitch. Catches the outside corner. Strike three looking. Draculich is retired. So great job by Meechin right there to settle down and finish the at-bat with a strikeout. Here's Cole Ybarra.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, especially in these consolation games where if you lose, you're going home, how long of a leash these starters have. As of right now, there is no personnel in either bullpen. Everybody's in the dugout.
Checks on the runner at first. Madsen back in. Mays Madsen with some good speed. He's already got a stolen base today. And then a snap throw from the catcher down to first. Madsen back in safely. And Madsen coming into today had 8 stolen bases this year. He's got 46 in his high school career. Actually stole 17 bases last year, was only caught once. So we'll see if Lehi puts the pieces in motion at all during this inning with Madsen at first. Counts 1-1 for Ybarra. Good framing from Cameron Pettit behind the plate. Now 1-2. Meechin set the pitch. Fouled back. Remains 1-2. Meechin buries one. Evens the count 2-2. Ybarra hitting .358 this season. He's driven in 26 runs. After him, it'll be Dawson Brown, Pioneer center fielder. Misses outside, runs the count full. Meechin's throwing a lot of pitches.
Yeah, good at bat by Ibarra here. Just seeing a lot of pitches, fouling balls off, trying to get a pitch so you can get a good hit.
This is a second straight full count. Bouncer to second. That's a slow roller. Only the chance at first. Ibarra's retired. So Madsen advances to second on the play. Here's Dawson Brown.
Yeah, great at bat there, and great battle by Herriman pitcher. Those are tough. When you go to an at bat and you're throwing 7, 8, 9 pitches in an at bat. If you win it, there's a lot of momentum that you gain. But if you don't win that, whether you're the hitter or the pitcher, it's a big time emotional draw on yourself, and you've got to really ramp yourself back up.
And it just goes back to the mental aspect of the game. So often people focus on the physicality and just the execution, but the mental side of any sport is equally important. Base hit through the left side. Madsen gets held up. Probably a good decision. Strong throw from Renteria. It's cut off, so the Pioneers have runners at the corners.
Hey, Brandon, you gotta hit it.
For Brandon Mnookin. It's the second time today Mnookin's come to the plate with runners at the corners.
Little conversation between third base coach and Madsen at third. Not sure he was either holding him up or telling him to go, but there's no signal, but that doesn't mean that there isn't an implied signal. Meaning sometimes that third base coach will be waving him home, and it gives a signal to the rest of the field that that's what he's going to do. Sometimes there's no signal, just an implied, hey, we are going no matter what, just to make sure they're on the same page. They've been talking.
Mnookin checks his swing, fouls the ball away. Yeah, with 2 down, I wouldn't have been surprised to see Mays get the green light right there, but if you've got confidence in Mnookin at the plate. Now the Lehi catcher behind 0-2.
And it's always really tough if you make that third out at home, especially because you left a chance for your hitter to knock in this run. I think it was the right call to hold up. I think he would have been he'd have been thrown out of home plate. Good throw from left fielder.
It definitely would have been a close play. Renteria showed off a strong arm. There's ball 1. Runners take their leads. Meechin comes set. In the dirt, bounces away. Not enough for Madsen to score, but Brown advances to second on the play. So now 2 in scoring position.
As a base runner, those are so hard to read at third because you want to be aggressive, but again, you don't want to make that third out at home. Again, good call by Madsen, I think, holding off there. There wasn't a lot of room.
Another miss outside. And you'll see as that ball bounces away from the catcher, Mnookin actually signals down to third base, telling Mays not to run. Or, if the ball is far enough away, he might say, come in, come in. But it's always that communication, teammates talking to each other. The more you can communicate, the better off you're going to be with that ball. Just making a catch in right field. I thought that was going to tail out of play, but Brigham Whitaker makes the grab to end the inning. Bank, home of the Tab Spending Rewards checking account with 3.5% annual yield on your account balances and 1% cash back on all eligible purchases. Great rewards are just the beginning at Tab Bank. Convenient online and mobile banking with no hidden or complex qualification requirements, no minimum opening balance, and 0 account fees. It's a big deal. Member FDIC. Back here at the ballpark through 3 innings of play. It's been a pitcher's duel. Sean McAfee and Talon Meechan battling back and forth. The Mustangs have no runs on 1 hit. The Pioneers with no runs on 4 hits. Leading off for Herriman here in the top of the 4th, it's the third baseman, Boston Jacobson.
Well, so far today, we're seeing much of what we saw yesterday. Pitchers executing well on pitches. Hits are a premium. Runs are even more of a premium.
Jacobson bounces the ball to short. Madsen, strong throw. Retires the first batter. Here's Cameron Pettit.
Now complete the catcher, number 6, Cameron Pettit.
And McAfee just having a spectacular day. Through 3+ innings of play, only 1 ball. There's only been 1 fly ball to leave the infield. And then a ground ball base hit by Brigham Whitaker. Everything else has either been a ground out or a strikeout. Misses inside.
You could just see the way that hitter took that. He was not ready for an inside pitch. Great pitch call.
Well, and McAfee's really been pounding that outside corner, so it would be a surprise to see him come inside once. You're not expecting it. Counts now 3-0. Grooves 1 for strike 1. Popped up behind second base. Making the call and the grab is Draculich. Ozzie Williams was ranging over. You saw him duck out of the way as Draculich settles underneath that ball.
Good communication between right field and second baseman there. Both are running really hard to get to that ball, and as a second baseman, you are on it until you are called off. The right fielder did a great job yelling it out. We can hear it from here.
McAfee misses again high. Logan Gregory at the plate, hitting .267 this season. McAfee still getting outs, but he struggled finding the strike zone here in the 4th. Catches the corner for strike 1.
Yeah, sometimes as a pitcher you start pitching away from contact, and has not been McAfee's success in this game thus far. He has been pitching to contact, trying to give hitters to hit. When he does that, he's been extremely effective at getting hit in counts and getting hitters to hit what he wants them to hit. You can just see at this inning he was trying to paint the outside corner a little too finely. He's just missing the zone. Now he's come back here, 2-2 count.
Well, that's a learning experience for every pitcher at every level, as being able to trust your defense and understand that contact is not necessarily a bad thing. Misses outside, runs the count full on Gregory.
Well, I mean, we've been talking averages and what everybody's hitting here, and you can look at it, and I always tell the young athletes, I said, hey, good hitters, Hall of Famers in the pros are getting out 7 out of 10 times.
Popped up, shallow center field at shortstop. Madsen makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Still zeros in Orem. Watching high school baseball on KSLSports.com. Are you ready to unlock your full athletic potential? At Athletic Potential, we specialize in helping athletes conquer pain, recover faster, and achieve peak performance. Whether you're a professional, collegiate, high school, travel ball, or recreational athlete, our tailored approach ensures you're stronger, faster, and more resilient. From personalized physical therapy to sport-specific performance training, we guide you every step of the way. Plus, with remote coaching options, expert support is always within reach. Don't let injuries hold you back. Visit athletic-performance.com to schedule your free consultation today and take the first step towards your best performance yet. Leading off for the Pioneers here in the bottom of the fourth inning, it's the designated hitter Jake Welch. And Welch lifts the ball to left. Making the catch is Riker Renteria.
Well, both pitchers have done a great job. Solid pitcher's duel here, only allowing 4 hits for Lehi, 1 hit for Herriman thus far. Basically waiting for one team to find a way to break it open, even with 1 to 2 runs. That'll feel like a big momentum shift.
Actually have our first pitching change right now. Taking over for Talon Meechin is Boston Jacobson on the mound. So Meechin went 3 innings, gave up 4 hits, no runs. Jacobson coming into the game. Opened the day at third base. Hard hit fly ball to right field. Draculich makes the play. So with Jacobson taking over on the mound, that brings Ricardo Mazones into the game at third base. So quick change for the Mustangs in the middle innings. And I wonder if that's perhaps a strategic move looking forward, trying to save Meechin as they advance in the tournament. Bouncer to third. Mazones gets his first chance. Strong throw, not in time.
That ball got up on him. He had to take it 2 steps back to catch it on a big hop, make a turn, and then throw a ball entirely across the diamond. Those are tough plays for a third baseman, especially when you're just coming into the game.
Well, that's usually how it goes. You come into the game, the ball will find you. There's Cooper Williams. Apologies, that's Gavin Yates at the plate. Yates popped out to first base in his first at-bat. That's the 1-1 pitch. Squares around, drops a beautiful bunt down. Throw is not in time. Everybody's safe. That's a bunt base hit for Gavin Yates, and the Pioneers have 2 on and 2 down for the top of the lineup.
Yeah, great time for a bunt call there. Again, defense is not quite ready. 2 outs, not anticipating a bunt. Everyone was a little late crashing. Pitcher had to make a play. The speed allowed for the bunt to become a base hit.
So with 2 down, we'll see if the Mustangs can continue keeping Lehi off the scoreboard. Tough order with top of the lineup, Mays Madsen 2 for 2 this afternoon.
Yeah, and if you're Lehi, this is the guy you want at the plate right now. He's had 2 good at-bats. He's looked comfortable in the box.
It is Madsen's first look at Jacobson today. Takes strike 1. Madsen, it's a team high 33 runs driven in this season. Takes strike 2 behind 1 and 2. Hard hit fly ball deep right field. Going back. It bounces off the glove of Whitaker on the warning track. Madsen flying into third base. The throw goes there. They get Madsen. 2-run score on the play. Madsen's thrown out at third base, but it's going to be a 2 RBI double for Mays Madsen. The Pioneers strike first. They lead 2-0 as we head to the 5th inning. Back here in Orem, the Lehi Pioneers strike first. It was Mays Madsen, the Pioneer leadoff hitter, coming to the plate with 2 runners on and 2 down. He ropes a ball to deep right field that skips off the glove of Brigham Whitaker, allowing 2 runs to score. Madsen's thrown out at third base to end the inning, but the damage was done. So Lehi with a lead. And we go to the top of the 5th inning. Herriman trying to get back into this one. Kaysen Thomas gets the first chance.
Yeah, damage done by Lehi, but what a relay throw from Herriman to get him at third.
Ball ripped to left. Making a sliding grab is Gavin Yates. Gavin Yates making a spectacular play, ranging probably 20-plus yards, 30 yards to his right, making that grab.
You know, as a left fielder, you see that ball off the bat, you've got a chance, and that is one of those that you can give it everything you've got. It says it's foul if you don't make that catch. That ball is slicing away. You know you have to run extra hard and overcompensate for the fact that even when you get there, it's still going to be going away from you. Great job by Yates to chase that one down.
Foul ball down the first baseline. Well, another thing, this is an unfamiliar field for Gavin Yates out there in left field. He's got the bullpen fence that he's contending with as well. Just a spectacular play on that ball. Counts now 1-1 for Easton Webb. The Mustang freshman waves at strike 2. Webb grounded out to second in his first at-bat. He's hitting .291. A pitch from McAfee gets away.
Just a bit outside. Looked like it slipped coming out of his hand.
I didn't know we had Bob Euchre in the booth with us today. Pop up, foul territory, out of play. Fly ball left field, much easier play here for Yates. Underneath it, makes the catch. 2 down as Easton Webb is retired. Here's Carson Jones. I think Yates will take that over the sliding ball in foul territory any day.
Yeah, even though those ones they have to go slide and dive, those are fun. Routine pop flies, we'll take those almost every time.
Now Carson Jones 0 for 1 today. Goes the other way. That gets down just inside fair territory. Extra bases for Jones. Digging for 2. A stand-up double for Carson Jones. Now a runner in scoring position for Brigham Whitaker, the Herriman 9-hole hitter.
Good piece of hitting there. Just the second hit for Herriman today. But that may be the spark that they need to get driving a run. We talk about putting up zeros after your team scores runs. It'd be a big-time boost for Herriman if they can drive that run in right here.
It's just the second base hit of the game for the Mustangs. McAfee misses outside. Ball 2 for McAfee. McAfee's got 5 strikeouts so far today, averaging a K per inning.
Continuing just to pound the outside strike zone. He's been throwing off speed out there. He's been throwing fastballs out there. Occasionally he'll bring a ball up and in. They're having a lot of success away from these hitters.
Popped up, second base. Williams makes the call and the catch. Retires the side. So we head to the 6th, or bottom of the 5th. Lehi leading 2-0. Game 1 of 4 this afternoon in the 6A High School Baseball State Championships. That's not the only sports that you can watch on KSLSports.com this week. We've also got the 5A and 6A Softball State Championships all weekend long. The 4A, 5A, and 6A Boys Lacrosse State Championships going on today and tomorrow. The 4A, 5A, and 6A Boys Soccer State Championships. It's spring in Utah, and that means high school sports at their peak. Championship games all over the state. The 5A baseball championships being held just down the road, actually, at Miller Park, on the campus of the BYU Cougars. The leadoff hitter for the Pioneers, Boston Draculich, pops out to left field. Good catch made by Renteria coming in on that ball. 1 up, 1 down.
Yeah, Renteria was playing quite deep. And had one, as soon as that ball was hit, he took one drop step and then had to run completely in. Well, turned what looked like was going to be a nice, easy routine fly ball into a hard-running catch.
Okay, I'm going to be old man yelling at clouds here for just 1 second. Mike, I'm going to ask you a question because you have children. Mm-hmm. So a hard hit ground ball to second base. Nice stop by Carson Jones. Gets to his feet and makes the play. When did fitted hats become too loose for anybody to keep on their head if they move more than 3 steps?
You know, I don't know if I can tell you. I played, they were pretty snug on our heads. I feel like when I was playing, it was like you wore them off center. That was kind of more the thing.
Uh-huh.
Now you wear them off center and loose. And then everything
and
just
the flat
flies
bill.
off. Yeah, and the flat bill. Yeah. I've definitely adopted the flat bill. I like the flat bill.
I like a flat bill, don't get me wrong.
I think that's just been a long time coming. The looseness, yeah, I'm not sure. You know, it's interesting. It would be interesting to go 1970, 80, 90, 2000s, 2010s, what the evolution of hats has been. I'm sure New Era can put together something for us there.
That sounds like a good, fun social media project. I was watching a video yesterday, very fitting. It was professional baseball gloves through the years. So they started with like 1890s when they didn't have a glove, and then there was like a gardening glove in the 1910s, and the progression through that. You get into about the 1970s, and you start getting into the modern day gloves, and it hasn't changed a ton since then, but whew, way more than I remember. Fly ball center field by Dawson Brown. Should be an easy play for Kason Thomas. He makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Boston Jacobson. So we head to the 6th inning. Lehi leading 2-0 over the Herriman Mustangs. You're watching 6A high school baseball on KSLSports.com. Back here on the campus of Utah Valley University, the Wolverines are in Arizona. So the 6A high school baseball state championships have invaded UCCU ballpark. This is game 1 of 4 on Wednesday, May 21st. The Herriman Mustangs taking on the Lehi Pioneers as we head to the 6th. Lehi leading 2-0. The Mustangs have scratched out just 2 base hits against Sean McAfee, who's been dominant on the mound for the Pioneers. Swinging at the first pitch. Coming in and making the grab is Dawson Brown in center. Just have not seen any hard contact from these Herriman batters against McAfee.
No, he's done a great job, again, changing speeds, moving the ball in and out, up and down. I'm not sure who's calling pitches for Lehi, but great execution by McAfee.
So that pitch hits Cash Carter. It's only the third base runner of the day for the Mustangs. Herriman hasn't had a runner reach third base today. Boston Jacobson now with a chance. He was 2 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Chance at a double play. 5, 4, 3. And the Pioneers turn the double play. That's a 4-pitch inning for Sean McAfee. He is in complete control today. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Lehi in front 2-0 on KSLSports.com. Brandon Mnookin leading off for the Pioneers here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Lehi trying to hang on to this 2-0 lead. We'll see if they can add some insurance before we head into the final frame. Mnookin looking for his first base hit today, facing Boston Jacobson. Jacobson's in his 3rd inning of work. Delivers strike 1. Counts now 1-1 on Mnookin. And Mnookin gets hit. Looked like he was wearing a little bit of armor on that front elbow. He's a catcher anyway, so that's just that's all in a day's work.
Yeah, you can see. I mean, most of these guys aren't trying to, turn away and go out of the box to get out of the way of these things. They're turned. That's how you train it. It's something that's been said as of late with all this body armor these guys are wearing now. It's just part of the game as a pitcher. Pitchers are pitching inside, which is why I think the body armor showed up. And now they're continuing to pitch inside. Hitters no longer trying to get out of the way.
Strike 1. Jake Welch, the designated hitter. Welch doubled to lead off the 2nd inning. He was stranded there. Also flew out to center field. Jacobson misses high. Boston Jacobson was the starting 3rd baseman for Herriman this afternoon. Came in to relieve Talon Meechan after 3 innings. Meechan scattered 4 hits without giving up a run. Counts 1-2 on Welch. Just gets a piece to stay alive.
Well, and you've got to give credit to both pitching staffs at this point. I mean, McAfee's having an absolute game. And Herriman, the 2 pitchers for Herriman have done a great job coming in and throwing strikes and getting outs. It's something I think we've seen all tournament long is the pitching has been very good. And they always say defense wins championships.
Ground ball, second base. Double play. Defensively, these teams have been so good in this tournament. We saw a double play turned by Lehi to end the 6th, and then here to end the 5th here in the 6th inning, Herriman turns one, and we've seen it all week long with these defenses stepping up.
Yeah, if you're Herriman here, you want a quick out, get in the dugout, go out and see if you can get these runs back, save your season.
As Ozzie Williams looks at ball 1. Herriman fans, if you're curious, due up in the 7th inning, it's going to be Cameron Pettit, Logan Gregory, and Kaysen Thomas. So the 4, 5, 6 hitters will be tasked with getting the Mustangs back in this ball game. But not until Lehi's done. Ozzie Williams still at the plate. 2-1 count, 2 down. Williams hits a ball hard, deep to right field. That's going to be trouble. A ground rule double for Ozzie Williams. Williams smoked that ball.
Yeah, again, a fortunate ground rule double for Herriman because that ball has triple written all over it if it stays in the park. One of the deepest parts of the ballpark where the fence comes to a point out in right center. You could see the outfielder there in the right field take a turn, start running back, and you could see he just really had no chance of getting caught up to that ball.
Now Lehi with a chance to add some insurance. Ozzie Williams at second base in scoring position for Cooper Williams. Cooper takes ball one. Cooper singled and scored in the fourth inning, the first run of the game. Now he's ahead 2-0 against Jacobson. And Williams gets hit by a pitch. So now runners on first and second, the second hit by pitch this inning.
I mean, really, if you're Herriman, there's really nothing hurt here, and you've got a force play at any base now. A lot of times as a pitcher, and I think that's probably what these infielders are coming in to talk about. Hey, look, we have 2 outs. You just hit a guy. Don't worry about it. Go be aggressive with this next hitter because we'll get an out at any base at this point.
Now Gavin Yates, the 9-hole hitter with a chance.
Now, if you're Herriman's coaching staff, you're sitting in the dugout saying, we do not want this lineup to turn over, especially with Madsen on deck.
Yeah, this is a critical at-bat now for both teams. Boston Jacobson comes set, the pitch. Popped into shallow left field. That'll get down. 1 run is going to score. Williams is held at third. Lehi adds some insurance. They lead 3-0. RBI single from Gavin Yates.
Great job by Yates coming in. You know that if you turn this over, you're going to get your 1, 2, 3 hitters back up. He puts a ball in play, drives in a run. Lehi's got a chance to add a lot of insurance runs. Good mound visit here by Herriman.
Yates didn't get a lot of that ball, didn't hit it particularly hard, but put it in the right spot. And with 2 outs, both runners were moving on contact. Ozzie Williams able to score from second base, and Cooper Williams chugs into third. So runners at the corners now. Facing Boston Jacobson, it's the leadoff hitter Mays Madsen, and Madsen's been on fire today. He's 3 for 3 with a pair of singles and a 2 RBI double. That was nearly a triple. Madsen ended up getting thrown out at third base to end the inning, but he's swinging a hot bat.
Yeah, part of that discussion might have been, hey, we may pitch around this guy right here. Or you may just intentionally walk and load the bases. Or it's, hey, this is how we are going to pitch to him. His other 2 hits came off previous pitcher, I believe.
Now, Madsen's first 2 hits came off of Meechin. The RBI double came off of Jacobson.
Great first pitch strike from Jacobson there.
If Madsen can reach, it'll bring Boston Draculich to the plate. There's the 1-1. Misses outside. You know, we've seen Jacobson come into this game. He's been willing to pitch inside, but I wonder if he's going to challenge Madsen. Puts one out over the plate. Madsen puts a good swing on it, and the ball is dropped. It's in the glove of Riker Renteria. He can't squeeze it. 2-run score for the Pioneers. That's a gigantic error from Riker Renteria. Madsen safely at second base, reaching on the E7. Williams and Yates both score. The Pioneers blow this game open. 5-0 Lehigh. So the floodgates have opened. Here's Draculich. It almost looked to me like either Renteria or Thomas were going to have an angle on that fly ball. Renteria came streaking across, had the ball in his glove, and then just had it pop out at the last second.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the reason why that ball wasn't just more cleanly caught. You have both fielders coming at each other at full speed. One's got to call it. And it was probably called a little bit late, which makes you have to adjust as a fielder. Tough to say. Couldn't hear it from out here. Those are tough plays, especially when both fielders going full speed like that.
There's the 1-1. Draculich, say it high, foul territory on the left side, and it drifts back into play. That's going to be a ground rule double. Renteria got lost on that ball, was in foul territory, and it drifted back, lands about 2 feet inside the third base line. And the Pioneers have scored 4. They lead 6-0.
Yeah, that is really tough. Ball looks like it's going to be foul. Renteria runs all the way to foul territory just to find out the ball is actually tracking back into fair territory. Ball hits the turf, bounce up, goes over the wall. Ground rule double, scores another run.
That is a lonely feeling when you're Renteria and you see that ball drifting back into play and you know you can't get to it.
Lehigh has gotten exactly what they wanted out of this bottom of the 6th. 4 runs to go into the top of the 7th.
And that should score another run. Cole Ybarra with the single. Well hit ball to the left. Draculich scores. It's now 7-0.
Well, and we've talked about it. Games like this where runs are hard to come by, it almost is like floodgates are waiting to open. And if you can get a big enough breach, you're going to see hit after hit and run after run. And Lehigh is pouring it on right now.
Just everything going right for Lehigh, nothing going right for Herriman in the bottom of the 6th. Pitch is popped up by Dawson Brown. Should be the end of the inning. Kason Thomas, and again he loses it in the sun. Lehigh is going to add another run. So that's going to be ruled a base hit. 2 more runs for the Pioneers.
Wind is swirling a little bit, but I'm willing to bet if we go out there, we're going to see a high sky. That ball was hit a mile high. Center fielder had a beat on it, and it's when that happens, you get underneath it, and that ball is coming down more straight on you. It is hard to see, and what they call this high sky, it almost disappears.
Brandon Mnookin at the plate. And the Pioneers have batted around here in the 6th inning. Mnookin started the inning getting hit by a pitch. As he lines a ball to center. Thomas underneath it. The catch is made, ends the inning. 6 runs on the board for the Pioneers. They lead 8-0 as we head to the 7th and final frame. The Mustangs need to mount a comeback now against Sean McAfee. You're watching 6A high school baseball playoffs on KSLSports.com. Top of the 7th and final inning for the Herriman Mustangs. They give up a 6th spot in the bottom of the 6th inning and built themselves quite a hole here. Cameron Pettit leading off against Sean McAfee. The Mustangs need 8 runs to keep this game going. Pettit looks at ball 1 from McAfee. He is nothing for 2 today. He's flown out to right field twice. Came into the game hitting .324. Another miss outside from McAfee.
Now, if you're Lehi manager, or Lehi's head coach, you're going to go out here. McAfee's throwing an absolute gem of a game. Oh, that ball's
hit
well.
hard to deep. Ball's been carrying to left. Hits the base of the wall, bounces back, extra bases.
Oh.
Sprinting for third. The throw, safe with the head first slide. Cameron Pettit. It's a leadoff triple for the Mustangs. They're in business.
Yeah, as I was saying before that triple, you guys as a head coach of a pitcher who's having an absolute game, you need to talk to him before he goes out to the mound on that, because there is an emotional letdown. He is no longer a 2-run lead. It is now an 8-run lead, and they are going to make a pitching change right here.
So a surprising move by the Pioneers with an 8-run lead, but it could also have something to do with just trying to save some bullets for McAfee in the later rounds of this state tournament. But we do have a pitching change, a left-hander coming into this ball game for the Pioneers. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with the numbers for the new pitcher. Lehi leads 8-0 in the 6A High School Baseball Championships on KSLSports.com. So pitching change taking over for the Lehi Pioneers. It's Ryder Carlton. Carlton, left-hander, comes into this ball game. The senior pitcher. Nobody down, a runner on third after a leadoff triple from Cameron Pettit. Logan Gregory at the plate. And Gregory takes ball one inside. Strike one. Evens the count 1-1. The winner of this game will advance to face the Davis Darts in this afternoon's game 3, scheduled for a 4:30 first pitch. Fly ball center field. Brown's under it. Makes the grab. Runner tags from third. He'll score standing up. So the Mustangs are on the scoreboard. They trail 8-1. Sac fly for Logan Gregory. He's got 6 ribbies this year.
Next up, number 17, Kason Thomas.
And here's Kason Thomas. Thomas.
If you're Lehi here, you're gladly going to trade a run for an out at this point.
Thomas looks at ball one. Started the day with a robust .341 batting average. Pops it up high on the infield behind second base. Ozzie Williams makes the catch. 2 down. So the Lehi Pioneers are 1 out away from advancing to face the Davis Darts this afternoon. Ryder Carlton comes in, retires the first 2 batters he faces. Then we'll take on Easton Webb. If Webb can keep the inning alive, Carson Jones will bat.
I know there may be some out there asking, like, why didn't they allow him to finish the game? Well, the pitch count rules for Utah require so many days rest depending on how many pitches you have thrown. So they may have been trying to keep him under a certain pitch count so he would be eligible to pitch on Friday or Saturday if needed.
That's an important note to keep in mind as these games go along. If a team like Lehi in control of this ball game, they start looking ahead to what they're going to need to do later in the week. Makes for a very interesting strategic decision sometimes for these head coaches.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about, but you know that you've got probably 1, if not 2, assistant coaches keeping an eye on it, just to make sure that they can make good decisions with the future of how many games they may have to play. Obviously, not giving up any wins or any losses at this point, because you'd be out and your season would be over. But important to know that if you're going to play multiple games going forward, you want to make sure you have your best pitchers ready to go.
Fly ball right field, ranging over, making the diving grab. That'll end the game in style for the Pioneers. Lehi pulls off the 8-1 win. They score 6 runs in the 6th inning. What are some of your takeaways from this one, Mike?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, the thing that stands out the most is McAfee and his performance today, shutting down the Herriman Mustangs, only allowing a few hits, no runs. And his pitching performance today really was the key to this win for the Lehi. And then Lehi turning on the offense when they need it in the bottom of the 6th, being able to find hits and then put runs across the board to secure a win and an advancement into the playoffs.
And so Lehi keeps their season alive. They'll advance to face the Davis Darts 4:30 this afternoon. It was Sean McAfee getting the win. He goes 6+ innings, gives up 3 hits, 1 earned run. He walked 1 and struck out 5. So that's the end of the season for the Herriman Mustangs. Their 2025 season comes to an end with a 15-15 record. We'll be back with Game 2 scheduled for 1 o'clock. I would imagine first pitch is probably going to be closer to 1:30. So we will be back shortly for Riverton versus Mountain Ridge here at UCCU Ballpark. You're watching the 6A High School Baseball State Championships on KSLSports.com.